Greetings! Welcome to another episode of Porygondolier. Today, I want to have a bit of fun playing around with the evolution system in Pokemon Red. Let's start off with the basics. In amongst the many files that make up Pokemon Red is a data file named Eeveelution Moves. If we open it up and scroll down to Oddish, or Mystery Grass as I like to call it, we can see that it evolves via level up at level 21 into something called Gloom. Let's see that in action. Okay, now under Gloom, we can see that this evolves via an item, specifically the Leaf Stone, into Victreebel. Vileplume. Hello! Yup, it's definitely Vileplume. I really must stop writing scripts late at night. Here we go. Victreebel. If we scroll down to Victreebel, originally there is nothing here, but let's make a little change. Okay, so we can do all kinds of bizarre evolutions like this if we want to, but how about something a little more practical? I have here a new save in Pokemon Blue. I tried to leave home as always, but Oak is having none of it. I'll take the water starter, which as everyone knows is Blastoise. Have you figured out where this is going yet? In my PC, I've been stashing away rare candies since the 90s, and by feeding them to Blasty, we can see that at level 16, it devolves into Warty? Let's never call it that again. And of course, at level 36, it becomes Squirty. Yum. All of this is achieved with just 4 tiny changes, 3 lines of evolutions, and 1 to change the starter. This could make for a fun little run, but how about something that puts evolution front and center throughout the game? Allow me to reintroduce you to Weedle, the hairy bug Pokemon. At level 7, it evolves into Kakuna, and at level 10, Beedrill. And that's it, right? Well, not today. By making 1 tiny change to Beedrill, we can loop it back round to Weedle. And since the evolution criteria is satisfied for all 3 on every level up, this loop will go on and on until it hits level 100. This means we can get Twin Needle on a Weedle, and perhaps more importantly, Gen 1 Kakuna finally has a use for these things. Say we'd like to use a legendary bird for something, but couldn't decide which to go for. Firstly, the correct answer is Zapdos, because Drillpeck is delightful. Secondly, worry no more, as this Sunday we're having 3-bird roast. Oh, and just for funsies, I threw Lugia into the mix as well. Anyone for Aeroblast on Moltres? Now then, in Pokemon Red, there exists an obscure and almost never mentioned Pokemon called Eevee. If we look at its data, we can see that it apparently has branched evolutions. Interesting. So by including multiple entries, we can give the player more options. One Pokemon that is not very skilled at evolution is Dux the Farfetch'd, but we can soon see to that. If we give it a Firestone, it tries to evolve, but something is off. Dux evolved into Dux? Perhaps the Firestone wasn't potent enough. Okay, how about something a little stronger? Like fresh water. And Farfetch'd evolves into... oh dear, perhaps this beverage was a little too potent. Not to worry, let's use a full restore. Okay, that's quite odd, but I did ask it to evolve into Porygon, so success. And it seems to be completely unharmed. I could quite happily spend all day playing around in this file, but now I want to take things up a notch. Elsewhere in the game files of Pokemon Red is yet another file called Eeveelution Moves, and this one contains the actual evolution engine. I'm not going to go into troves of technical detail about how this all works, because frankly, look at it. I have no idea, but I'd like to draw your attention to this little bit here. What this does is read the data from the file we were looking at before to figure out what Charmander is meant to turn into. It's Jigglypuff, right? Well, it might be, because I'm going to stick in a call random right here, and let's see what happens. Excellent. So this is all well and good, but to make it more interesting, we can set every Pokemon's evolution criteria to level 1. With this, every time my creature levels up, we get something brand new. Okay, so Cubone, Spiritomb, very nice, and oh. Apparently this is a glitchmon called Pcash? Let's go with Pcash. For a Glitchmon though, its sprite leaves something to be desired. Those stats though are the bee's knees. I award it a 3 out of 6 on the Pory scale. So I'll not get into all the fancy details, but to fix this, I limited the pool of random numbers to only those of actual proper Pokemon. Sorry /Pokemon upside down triangle Pokemon, I don't mean to be mean, but you need to go back to the drawing board. Now, if you've ever seen the Pokemon anime, you can probably recall at least one scene where a Pokemon evolved in the middle of a battle. These make for fun climactic moments, and are a staple of the show. Although I still find it bizarre that Sabrina was originally using an unevolved Abra. Unfortunately, in the mainline games, aside from the novelty that is Mega Evolution, this has never been possible. Coming Right Up is one of my favourite mods to make to the game, and here's what it looks like. I enter the Pokemon League with a rather over-leveled Krabby, it unleashes its claws on Dugong, and levels up. Mid-battle evolution is triggered, and it becomes... Diglett. Right, this is just getting silly now. One last experiment. I'm going to take a ride to Silver, Platinum, and X, and bring back 5 Pokemon into Gen 1. Then, I'll turn on random evolutions, but limit the pool to just these 9. Finally, I'll bring in mid-battle evolution, and to kick it up a gear, I've rigged it so that Eevee and Co will evolve, not on every level up, but every time they get experience. In other words, every time it gets a knockout. And if you'd like to see what happens next, the full playthrough is here. And as always, I'd like to wish you a wonderful day, and I look forward to welcoming you back to another video soon. For now, bye!